Hi there, this is Nicole with a little bit of horse logic, and as always we're powered by mindful connections because they matter to us and our horses. So today my video here is all about words, and I picked a little bit of a provocative title like, what did you call me? Because I think it's really important to have a mindful state of mind when we are around our horses. So let me give you a couple of examples. Quite often I come to a barn, and when I talk to the person about the horse, the person often introduces the horse as, oh, he's my rescue. And then when I ask them, oh, so when did you get the horse? Oh, I think 5 years ago in June. And I go, whoa, right? That's living in the past. And that's kind of what we do as humans. We live in the past. We still think about our horse and talk about our horse as a rescue. You know, we still often compare our last horse to this horse. We compare our last ride to this ride. And we also spend a lot of time in the future thinking about the show next weekend, even though it's still 5 days away and a lot could happen in between. So for us to have a more mindful state of mind, we really need to retrain ourselves, and we need to realize that we are affecting our horse by being in the past. So for example, right, if this horse gets introduced to me as a rescue, I could actually immediately feel like, oh, a rescue, the poor horse. And I think sometimes that actually brings up a little bit of pity in us toward that being. And here this horse is 5 years later thriving and healthy, and I might come with this energy toward him that is actually not at all accurate and actually incongruent to how the horse feels at this point, possibly. So it's a really important thing to think about how we speak to our horses, with our horses, and about our horses, because it has a ripple effect. Now, right, the horse is known as the rescue among the barn. Now, there are, of course, other words we can talk about. So I also hear quite a bit, especially when I come to therapeutic riding centers, that somebody will come up to me and introduce the horse as, oh, that's Grace, she's trouble. Or even people getting a little rougher, you know, he is, she's bitchy, or he is, he's always misbehaving. And when we use these words to describe a horse, we provide immediately a label to the horse. And those labels stick because, right, this is the trickle effect again. Somebody calls the horse something, and then the next person repeats it, and all of a sudden that horse is known as such, whatever the label might be. So we really want to stay away from it and actually, again, retrain ourselves and the people around us to share something positive, because horses, just like us, want to be seen and heard for what they're good at, right? I mean, who wants to hear about your trouble? Which reminds me actually right now, you know how on the internet for a while they had these shaming videos where they would hang signs around the dog's neck and say like, I peed on the floor, or something terrible. And that just breaks my heart, seeing that we're shaming these animals. He probably peed on the floor because he was left home alone for too long. And the same is, right, I talked about it before, when a horse is trouble, it's the horse's cry for help. And instead of shaming the horse or representing the horse as trouble, it would be so much better to actually figure out why this horse is troubled. And in the meantime, introduce the horse for something that he or she is good at. So, right, I always like to introduce my horse, Shana, as the one that is so curious and that is so brave and is always so willing to engage. Where Cutter, I like to say, wow, he is such a gentle and benevolent leader. He's just really great at this. Or I will talk about Cutter has always so much heart. People immediately when they meet him, they feel their own heart opening up. Isn't that much better to introduce your horse with some positive notes, and that ripple effect then gets carried out into the world? Now, I just actually thought of one other thing. Oh yeah, so the other thing is also, let's just say somebody might say, oh, yeah, that's the one who bucked me off. That's another one of those statements, right? Think about it. If I introduce you to a horse and I'm like, that's the one who bucked me off, you probably right away go, ooh, and you get tight around this horse. For me personally, if I keep that in mind as the one who bucked me off, and I now have to go about another ride or, you know, get ready to teach somebody on this horse, if it's the one that bucked me off, I feel tense, and I'm bringing that tension to that horse for the next ride. And what are the chances that ride is going to be a peachy experience? If, however, I look at this horse and go like, wow, this horse is really sensitive. And what happened before what happened? Why did he buck me off? What did I bring to the horse? Or what had the environment created for the horse to be so tense that he felt the need to buck? All of a sudden, I could actually introduce that horse as, oh, this horse, he's actually one of my greatest teachers of sensitive horses, because he is so, he expresses himself so well that I learn every day more and more about this horse and from this horse. So another way of really looking at it. So I really just want to invite you to come to the barn and start paying attention, not just to your breath and how you show up in your head in terms of thinking about things in the past or thinking about things in the future, but rather being mindful and present. Also start picking your words. Pick words that are meaningful, that are confidence building, that mean something positive and compassionate, because it will actually not only help your horse to build confidence so that that horse can actually stretch in that space you're creating rather than recoil from the space that's created, right? I want my horse to be encouraged and wants to, so that if I say, Shana, you're always so amazing, look how you do this, I can see she gets like a little, and her chest puffs up a little bit. And that's what I want, because I want my horses to be confident and comfortable. And so pay attention to those words. Are you providing confidence to your horse? Then you're on the right path, because at the same time, you're also providing confidence for yourself by reminding yourself about the fabulous things that your horse is actually offering. All right? So there you go. Let me know how you make out with your horses and with this idea of really picking and choosing words wisely. Nicole from Mindful Connections with a little bit of horse logic.